Zenless Zone Zero is the latest game from Hoyoverse, and today we'll be covering important basics to make sure you're ready for launch day. This is mainly an introduction to some game features, just to get familiar. We're not going to go super in depth. Described as an urban fantasy action RPG, ZZZ is all about stylish presentation with satisfying combat that new and seasoned action gamers can enjoy. Zenless Zone Zero launches on July 4th or the 3rd if you're in the Americas time zones. There will be a preload available a couple days before. You can play on PC, iOS and Android, plus PlayStation 5. Play where you want with cross-save progression and pick from a variety of supported languages. You can also pick between 4 dubs: English, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean. Both Genshin and Star Rail's English dubs have been fantastic, and ZZZ is not slowing down the quality. 2 characters you'll hear from a lot are our main protagonists. They operate under the identity of the proxy Phaethon, but you have to pick one main character to control. Whether you play as Wise or Bell, both are present in the story, but your sibling would end up doing a little more talking since they will act as your assistant. However, unlike Hoyo's past 2 games in voice dialogue sections, when you get to pick between different options, your MC will actually voice the lines. No more awkward, half-silent back and forths. You're going to hear from Wise and Bell both, so don't worry too much, pick who you want to run around as. Now, our proxy duo aren't actually taken to the battlefield. They will guide various agents in the hollows, and this is where combat takes place. In ZZZ, you have a team of 3. You can swap between them in a specified order. Agents have different basic attacks, skills, and ultimates. There is a dodge into bullet time mechanic, and this is actually taken further with the perfect assist system. Swapping to another agent right before an attack connects allows the next agent to make a parry or evasive dodge, in which you can quickly follow up to press the attack. While you dance with the enemy, your goal is to raise their daze meter, which then leads into a stun. Stunned enemies take extra damage, and you'll have the opportunity to enact chain attacks. This lets you swap between your team to lay down very flashy high burst damage moves. If dodge plus bullet time is defensive, chain attacks are the offensive's slow-mo complement. ZZZ has a couple other mechanics. Over time and by attacking, you can gain energy. Under your agent's HP, with enough energy, your agent's special skill turns into an EX special. These are higher damage, better versions of the regular skill. Weaving in your other agent's EX specials will be crucial. Now, to activate your ultimate, you're going to need 3,000 decimal points, showcased in the top left. By attacking often and executing maneuvers like perfect assist, you can rack up points faster. Once ready, you can only use one ultimate before having to build up more points. In addition to days build-up, ZZZ has a status system called Anomaly. Every agent is assigned an attribute. These are physical, fire, ice, electric, and ether. Dealing attribute damage builds up Anomaly. Eventually, you'll trigger a status tied to each attribute, such as Shock for electric and Corrupted for ether. If you can trigger a second Anomaly while the first is still active on the foe, you also trigger a Disorder effect for extra damage. While basic attacks generally are physical damage, specials, ultimates, and dodge counters usually inflict damage of the agent's attribute type as a reward for good play. To build upon ZZZ's combat, agents each have a specialty fighting style: attack, stun, anomaly, support, and defense. Specialties aren't just naming conventions, these act as classes when it comes to equipping ZZZ's equivalent of weapons. Now, attack type agents will understandably be quite popular because damage, and support agents will apply buffs or debuffs. Stun agents build up days faster, anomaly agents focus on anomaly triggers, and defense only has one agent so far who has shield and counter mechanics. ZZZ does not seem made with a dedicated healer role in mind, so time will tell how important defense agents will be. Along with their combat skills, agents will come with a core passive. These also have an additional ability, but the catch is that they need to be in the same team as another agent with the same attribute or the same faction. Factions play a big role in ZZZ in terms of character allegiances and relationships. Currently, we have a couple fleshed out groups, including the Cunning Hares, Bellabog Heavy Industries, and Victoria Housekeeping. A couple factions only have 1 or 2 members at launch. It's unknown how fast we're going to be getting new characters in ZZZ. Now, there are 8 characters that were teased in the pre-release program, but we have zero info on them besides the girl, who is believed to be Qingyi. Miyabi was an early beta unit, but will not be available on launch. Also, no clue when she will actually be released into the full game. For those curious, here are the free characters you can earn. From the Cunning Hares, you can get Nicole, Billy, and Ambi. I'm not 100% sure, but I've read that Ben from Bellabog is obtained via the main story. Corn from Victoria Housekeeping will be given to everyone thanks to pre-registration rewards. From Section 6, she's the only member on launch, but you can get Sokaku by completing some stages of an endgame mode. There is the possibility of also getting Lucy from the Sons of Calydon from some kind of event. It's implied by this graphic, but no confirmation. Next, I want to do a basic team building example to review the info we just covered. Our first major new character is Ellen Jo, so let's build a team around her. Ellen is an ice attack type agent. We want to complement her damage with other team utility, and at the same time we want to activate Ellen's additional passive. This means we ideally want a second ice agent or someone else from Victoria Housekeeping. We only need one of those requirements, but an agent who does meet both conditions is Lycon. Lycon is an ice stun agent. He can help daze enemies faster, so Ellen is free to do more damage. For her last teammate, Sokaku is the only other ice agent on launch, and she's a support who can buff the squad's attack and their ice damage. While faction teammates are one way to activate agents' passives, by matching attributes you can also get the benefit of multiple agents applying the same anomaly. This means a lot of freezing, which leads back to Ellen getting to do her damage. For another example, Zhu Yuan will release later in version 1.0. She's an ether attack type agent. There are no other agents from her faction, and the only other launch agent with ether attribute is Nicole. Luckily, Nicole is a support type unit, so she's a pretty good teammate. But if you want the third ally in this team to also proc their additional ability, they have to be from the Cunning Hares. You can use the Ambi for example. This does showcase one issue with ZZZ's team building, at least for now. Until we get more agents, you may have a very specific team comp unless you forgo activating one of your agent's passives. Do you need to worry about this in the early game though? Probably no, just have fun and level up your units. But keep it in the back of your mind as we get more agents and we head into the end game. Now, to get more agents, you're going to have to gacha for them. If you played Genshin or Star Rail, the gacha system is pretty much exactly the same. I'm not going to dive into the numbers, but let's dumb things down for anyone new to gacha games. While playing ZZZ, you're going to gain 3 items: Master Tapes, Encrypted Master Tapes, and Polychromes. Master Tapes will be used on the Stable channel. This is a permanent banner, but what you get is entirely up to RNG. Every 10 summons you will get at least one A-rank agent or W engine, which are the weapons for agents. Every 90 summons you are guaranteed at least one S-rank agent or W engine. For new players, your first 50 summons on the Stable channel are discounted and guarantee one S-rank agent. Everyone should be doing this. For a long-term reward, if you do 300 summons on the Stable channel, you can pick any of the 6 S-rank Stable channel agents one time. Now, for Encrypted Master Tapes, these are used on the Exclusive channel. This is the limited time banner. If your first S-rank agent pulled from this banner is not the featured agent, then the next S-rank will be. Basically, you can guarantee any exclusive channel agent with 180 summons. Without getting too detailed, in practice this is actually a little lower. Now, for playing the game, you're going to get a stash of polychromes. 160 polychromes can be converted into one encrypted tape. This is the main way to get pulls for limited time units. While you can convert polychromes into regular master tapes, this is unadvised. If you really like an exclusive channel agent, you can also try to get their W engine. The W engine channel will feature an S-rank W engine tailored to the exclusive agent. In Hoyo games, these are typically pretty powerful, but if you are a free-to-play player or a low spender, well, this is an expensive investment. You should be able to make do with most A-rank W engines just fine. Now, the last channel is not in other Hoyo games because this is for Bang Boo. Bang Boo are those small bunny looking helpers who assist you on the battlefield. While you do need to gacha for Bang Boo, they use a separate currency only obtained in-game called Boopons. You also get to choose which S-rank Bang Boo you eventually will get. Because gacha games essentially emulate gambling, I do want to warn anyone new to the genre, do not feel pressured to spend money in ZZZ. This game has no PvP, you do the content at your own pace. If you summon extra copies of agents, you can merge them together to gain extra abilities. This is almost never necessary for the S ranks, but there is for sure a gap in power. To end the video, I want to briefly talk about the 6 stable channel S rank agents. Thanks to the new player discount, everyone's going to get one of these characters early on. Disclaimer, this info is from the 3rd beta test. Kits can be reworked on launch. First up, Grace from Bellabog. Grace is an electric anomaly agent. She was the only anomaly unit before they announced Piper. Anomaly is one of those things that will need more testing once the game is fully out. Grace should apply electric anomaly faster than others, and there is an anomaly mastery and anomaly proficiency stat you can build into. She's probably the most interesting S rank depending on how anomaly is received. Next up is Victoria's Rena, who's an electric support agent. She can send out her puppets to attack, and while they're away, Rena boosts the pen ratio of allies based on part of her own pen ratio. Pen, or penetration, lets you ignore enemy defense, and I did not see many, if any, agents who had pen ratio in their kits. Supports can be some of the most vital units in these Hoyo games, and since Rena is from Victoria Housekeeping, she also could be a good ally with Ellen. Third, we have Bellabog's boss, Coleta, who's a fire stun agent. Her EX special does big daze damage and comes out faster if used at certain points in her basic attack combo. She can also boost chain attack damage, which seems pretty powerful. Interestingly, if Coleta is in a team with Ben, she just has new animations, plus they do a little more damage. As far as I know, this is the only instance where certain agent pairs get special animations. I don't know if this is a one-time thing, but I really hope they add more because it's pretty sick. Coleta has great animations all around. Moving on, we have our last cunning hair, Nekomata, a physical attack agent. Flashy and fast, if Nekomata lands her dodge counters, she gets a ton of extra damage for a short period. She has a low cost EX special, which gets empowered after any unit inflicts assault, which is the physical anomaly status. Interestingly, the new A-rank agent, Piper, is a physical anomaly unit. She should specialize in triggering assault, so she could be a great teammate. Next, we have Soldier 11, a fire attacker agent. She has a timing mechanic for her basics where correct timing will give her stronger fire attacks, called fire suppression. After using her EX special, Chain Attack or Ultimate, Soldier 11 also gets automatic fire suppression for a short amount of time. Her core skill boosts fire suppression damage more, and her ability just further boosts fire damage in general. Now, because she's the only Obo Squad agent, you probably want to pair her with a second fire agent. Like Nekomata, Soldier 11 may also want one of the new Sons of Caledon. Lucy is a fire support unit who can boost attack. Sounds pretty decent. Soldier 11 could also be great with Coleta for stun. Last up is Lycon, who is potentially one of the best agents to get on launch. He can charge his basic attacks and special for extra damage, plus daze buildup. When hitting a stunned enemy, they take extra damage in that stunned state. This means you actually want to swap to Lycon immediately after a stun happens, because he's going to increase the damage the enemy takes from your whole team, and then you can go into your team's chain attack combo. Like we mentioned earlier, if you get Lycon, you can also earn a really good spot for the mono ice team. Ellen being the first limited time unit and an ice attacker is great, plus Okaku's a free ice support. Well, I don't know if this team actually is going to be the meta. In theory, it's got a lot of good synergy. Hopefully, this video helped you understand some of the things you'll encounter in Zenless Zone Zero on launch day. We are very close and I am hyped. While the previous beta test was only a few months ago, it's possible some of these features may have been tweaked. We would just have to see how everything plays out in the final release. On the topic, it'll probably be a little bit before my next ZZZ video. I want to experience as much of the game before commenting further. Thank you for watching though. Have fun with Zenless Zone Zero, and I will see you in the next video.